Hello, everyone. I'm here with Rich Weller. He's one of our longtime MPUG contributors. He's been working with us for over 20 years,
Yep.
and he is currently a senior consultant with MIGSO P Cubed, or MP for short, also for over 20 years. And we could talk to Rich about almost anything, probably literally anything related to
Mhm.
project management. So we're going to get into a few questions today. Rich, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, again, Morgan, you did a great job there. Rich Weller, I've been working for MP for over 20 years and have been contributing to the MPUG organization for about that same time, over 20 years. And I've worked across many different sectors and many different industries and all aspects of project management. So, Morgan, some people may be a little nervous standing in front of you with no idea what questions are going to come, but toss them in here, kiddo. Let's go.
That's right, folks. We have not prepared ahead of time at all. This is off the cuff for Rich entirely. So let's see how we do. I have a question to start us off here. We've already mentioned your 30-year plus or nearly 30-year career, let's say it that way, in project
Yeah.
management. And lately, we've been hearing from you a lot about project controls. So I'm curious, what drove your interest in project controls and why do you think it's particularly important today in the AI-driven world?
Yes, so you mentioned it, you dropped the phrase AI, and that's exactly where I was getting ready to come back to. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's how I see things. Just like Agile infiltrated our project management world a number of years ago, and we reeled from that, right? That was a disruption to the way we had been managing projects for years. Well, we adopted that, we adapted that, and we learned how to work with the new mechanism, the new methodology, if you will. And we brought that into our project management world and into our capabilities. Now, and that's agile. So we're over that hump, but now it's AI. Since 2019, Morgan, since 2019, I've had my finger on the pulse of this AI and project management. Now, most of the rest of the world only about 3 years ago or so, and just over the last couple of years, has it become hot and crazy and off the charts. But here's the moral of the story. Whether you're using some other methodology, predictive or adaptive or predictive being waterfall or traditional, adaptive being Scrum or Agile, whether you're using some other kind of methodology or whether you're using AI driven tools. What are we trying to do? In our project management world, our executives want the scope of their project delivered on time and within budget. They don't care if we use Scrum or, Waterfall or the latest whiz bang AI technology. They don't care about that. Bring me the scope of my project on time within budget and meeting my quality expectations. That's what our leaders are looking for. And that's project controls. And that's why I come back to, hey, look, don't get distracted by this shiny thing over here or this shiny thing over here. They're nothing more than a means to the end to get us there quicker, to improve our decision making. But ultimately, that's what it's all about. And that's why project controls, schedule management, or time management, cost management, risk management, quality management. That's why I am on my bandwagon and preaching about that, even though everybody else is over here screaming about AI. It's a means to the end.
Mhm. Yeah, we actually did a great panel discussion with you and your team not too long ago on MPUG's weekly live events, which is now on the website under trainings. If
Yeah.
you're an MPUG member, you can see that, and we talked a lot about that.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the little promotion there, Morgan. One other thing too that I could probably toss out because, again, I've been in the project management space for nearly 30 years, all here, majority in the United States. And this term project controls is a little bit foreign to us in the United States. But again, really, it's the fundamentals of the fundamental blocking and tackling of time management, cost management, risk management, quality management. But again, and you mark my words, just like back in 2019 when I said AI is coming, and people thought I was crazy, like, go burn that witch at the stake. He's just rattling on stuff. Well, we're here today, and we see it. And what I'm telling you right now is within the next couple years, we will realize, like, oh yeah, that's just another AI. These AI tools are just another tool in our arsenal. And what are they there for? Focus on project controls, and the project management world will come back to that.
Because you did write an article recently for us about AI and digital transformation in PMOs. So maybe you can think of an example of how you've implemented an AI tool to enhance the project controls the fundamentals that you're focusing on, if you have
All
one.
right. All right. So I'm gonna first challenge you and our audience and our listeners. And when you ask that question around AI, my question back to you all, to you, Morgan, and all our listeners is, what's your definition of AI?
It's a fair question.
Hmm? So here's the problem in our world today. There is no agreed upon definition of what AI is. Go back check me. Go look it up. I could point to PMI says one thing. Actually, they have PMI has two definitions of AI, and they're slightly different. Scaled Agile has a definition, and then I've got a definition from Microsoft. And I'll be honest, the definition that I like best is actually coming from Microsoft.
Okay.
And don't ask me to quote it directly, but it has something to do with the fact. You remember, we're off the cuff here. I'm talking
Mhm.
no prep, but it has something to do. It states something like it's application which mimics human behavior. All right, mimics human behavior. Okay, so if that's the definition that I stand behind related to AI, that's my definition, mimics human behavior. I will give you a real world case study that I heard just Thursday of this past week. So our organization, we are thought leaders in the space of project management and PMOs. And so we will go in and help an organization set up a project management office and improve their project management practices. And so on Thursday, just this past week, I was listening to one of our consultants in out on the West Coast, and she said, "Hey, I got this role inside of a project management office, and so they were having me do these very manual processes in Excel, and dragging and dropping and copying and pasting and doing this real manual." And she stepped into it like a mess, right? And just like a very time consuming mess, and stepped into it, and she worked to understand the real process, or the bigger process that was going on, and then implemented a Power BI reporting solution with some automation inside of it, and remove that entire manual process. So now there's real-time dashboards that's providing more accurate information in a timely manner. And so again, the way we think, the way I personally think is, we inside of MP leverage technology to improve our processes and improve our decision making. And that right there, that one little story, that not me, that one of our other consultants came in and solved the problem.
Mhm.
I could go on and on here, with respect to, what I say is the definition of AI, and give you more real world examples. But I think a couple is good enough for where we're at right now.
Yep, that was great. Thank you for sharing that case study too. That story was really interesting. Let's go down a slightly different track. I know that you hold all three PMI citizen developer credentials.
Yes,
Written a lot
yes.
about citizen development. How do you see citizen development transforming traditional project management approaches?
All right. So this is another interesting little twist on our project management world. So this term citizen development, it's like not that common, not that well known of a term, but it, mm, every one of my project management peers are what we call citizen developers. And then you're like, I know half the audience is like, what is that term? I don't know what you're saying. Well, think of a citizen developer as someone who picks up the latest and greatest kind of technology, right? And leverages that technology to improve a process or improve your decision making, right? Boom. You're a citizen developer. So now what are we talking about? Maybe that the case study I gave where the consultant walked in and moved a very manual process using Excel to Power BI. Internal to our organization, I've seen other examples where we leveraged a Power App, leveraging Power Apps for creating kind of like a online database where individuals could submit their skills, individual skills, and using Power Apps instead of good old Excel, right? Instead of managing some Excel file, we leverage Power Apps. Individuals can update or input their own information. It goes into a database, and now, providing you have the right permissions, you could query that database to say, hey, I need someone with this skill set. And there it goes. It'll show you. And so, Power Apps is again another Microsoft application that is just another example. But again, citizen developer. It's all about an individual who doesn't, like, I can't write a bit of code. Like my greatest coding experience is I can write formulas in Excel, and my best way to write a macro is to actually record it and then pick up that recording and kind of tweak it. Like, that's the extent of my coding capabilities. But I've done a number of different things in the past.
Something that kind of came up in the work of yours that I was reading over is this balance between empowering citizen developers and maintaining it for an organization like a large PMO. Is there a balance that you need to strike between letting people play with tools and keeping things streamlined?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And so if this sparks a chord for any of your listeners, I'll point you to what's called the Citizen Developer Business Architect. And so PMI started this whole citizen developer certification program a couple few years back. And given the way and the direction that technology was going, I'm like, yes, this is perfect because, one of the courses was about, hey, this is what a citizen developer is, get you thinking, right? And then the next course, that citizen developer business architect, was like, hey, how do we govern this? First off, how do we scale the concepts up and out and throughout the organization? But also, how do we provide governance for, like you say, all this work that's going on? Because this concept of, hey, anybody could build almost any kind of application and have it running inside the organization. That scares a lot of our IT departments and directors, as that kind of should, because of the whole security concerns. But this is where that citizen developer business architect talks about establishing, a governance process and a governance committee and a centralized approach so that we can have some control over the different applications that are being built, primarily to ensure we've got the right level of security and compliance on these tools that almost anybody can make today, doing crazy stuff.
Mhm. It's interesting how often the things I keep saying, let's go down a different track, but then we kind of come back to the same thing. Um, Security is an issue with AI tools. Maybe there could be an argument for AI tool. Is AI a citizen developer now that we have to contend with, or is AI like
That's
allowing people
that
to?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That, and the term AI has caught hold and taken off because it's sexy. It's
Mhm.
sexy. It's stuff movies are made out of, and I'm telling you, some of the tool. Look, yeah. It's
Yeah.
AI is not just Chat GPT. If you think that, like you got to go do, you're mistaken. Okay, there's like tens of, there's a website out there called, the domain name is, there's an AI for that. That's the domain name. And if you go there and you say, show me all the AI applications, there's probably 20,000 there today that I haven't looked for a while. But if you apply a filter to say, show me only the project management related AI applications, I'd be willing to bet, again, I haven't done it for a while. I'll be willing to bet there's close to 100 sitting out there right now. So if you think AI is just Chat GPT, like, you got to wake up. You're missing it. But let's come back to the concept here of citizen developer and AI, because yeah, why did AI take off and citizen developer concept didn't? Because AI is sexy. AI is the stuff movies are made out of. And I'll tell you what we can do with the generative AI tools, right? ChatGPT, Copilot inside of Edge, Grok, Gemini, Meta AI. Oh, and don't forget our friends. I'm telling you, the other one that's the sleeper, that's, if you're in the project management space, you got to make this your best friend, and that is PMI Infinity.
Oh, wow.
So I'm telling you right now, PMI Infinity 2.0, if you're in the project management space, you should go to that friend first. Why is that? Because it's, their chatbot is pointing to all of their years of standards and documentation and articles. So, and they got additional tools out there like learning paths and pre-recorded prompts. So this is not a sales pitch for PMI, but it's more around like, look, if you think AI is just Chat GPT, like, you gotta do a little more research. And I highly recommend, if you're in the project management space, PMI Infinity. It's actually 2.0, but we'll call it PMI Infinity. It's the chatbot that you should start off with, right? All right, now back to your original question. So I get it's multi-level, it's multi-layers, it's never straightforward or easy. All right, AI versus citizen developer. So AI, it's taken off, it's sexy first off. Then we got these cool generative AI tools that at our fingertips. I just ripped off like 6 of them for you. But let's come back to the whole concept of um, a citizen developer. So a citizen developer is someone who builds a solution using the latest and greatest technology. And if you build a solution leveraging a generative AI tool, you're a citizen developer. And if you're not aware, the latest feature inside of ChatGPT, and if you're using ChatGPT, please make sure you turn the security permissions off so you're not training their bot. Please don't want to send out your information. I can't remember the clicks off the top of my head, but if you're using ChatGPT, turn the security permissions off so you're not training your bot. If not, you're risking sharing your company's intellectual properties with the world. Okay, now that I've said that, one of the latest features inside of ChatGPT is ChatGPT tasks. So you can go in there and say, hey, set me a reminder. And so, for instance, an example, I have that set up for me. I only got one thus far because it just released last week or the week before. I said, hey, once a week, send me the top 3 articles related to AI and project management. And I set it up. I said Saturday morning, send it to me Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. I set it up one day last week. So this Saturday, I'm waiting. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Sure enough, in my inbox, I got a simple little email that said, "Hey, this is your task," and there were 3 links for 3 articles related to AI and project management. So that's one example. So the other one that's big, Morgan, and it's in the process of coming to life. It's called Project Manager Agent inside of Microsoft Planner. And I
Okay.
know, I know, again, we've got a lot of people that are users and members of the MPUG community that are fans of the Microsoft stack, and Microsoft Planner is very popular out there. So again, this is a new feature. It is called, and watch for it, it is called Project Manager Agent in Microsoft Planner. I watched a video for it a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
It's like magic. It's like black magic because now it's starting to, starting to do things for you. So keep an eye on that. That's very hot. So anyhow, learning how to leverage this. Hold on, one more thing here, Morgan. And I warned you, like you'll have a hard time containing me, even without knowing the questions, because this is passion for me around project management, passion for me around technology. So, but here's the thing. I'm a student of project management, and I've been studying this as a student of AI since 2019. But here's the thing, this light bulb just went on for me over the week. No, last week. This technology is growing at such a fast pace, it's evolving at such a fast pace that we as individuals, we as people, and especially we as project managers, we can't absorb it. We can't absorb it and understand it and figure out how to capitalize upon it or how to leverage that technology. Like that rate of change is happening like this in the technology. It's going up like this. Well, we can only like we got jobs. We're managing projects, and on the side, we're trying to upskill ourselves. So that technology is increasing like this, whereas our ability to understand it and use it is trending like this. So as time moves forward, that gap between what the tools and technology can do versus what we know how to work with, it keeps widening.
Mhm. Yeah.
And just simply being aware of these things, like I tasks inside of ChatGPT with tasks, just being aware of that's like, oh, I didn't know that. Now you go try it out. This other solution which Microsoft's bringing to life, Project Manager Agent inside of Microsoft Planner. Now you know, go check it out. And then also just being aware of what is capable and knowing that it's not just ChatGPT. That's
Right.
it. All right, Morgan. I think I kind of beat that one up pretty good, didn't I?
Thanks for you taught me some things. I'm sure people listening will also, it would be the first time they hear some of those things. I want to throw,
Now hold on, hold
yeah.
on. Here's the other thing. As soon as you say it, as soon as you write it, as soon as you document it, it's obsolete tomorrow. And that's
Hmm.
what I think about. Like anybody that's going to write a book based upon like AI or AI in project management, it's like in my mind, I'm like, man, you got to be pretty high level or pretty basic, because
Yeah.
anything more than that, it's going to be like all these new features and capabilities just come out within the last couple months.
Hmm.
Makes it, everyone is like a game changer, and in my mind it takes any written book and it's like that's archaic as soon as you publish
So,
it.
yeah, we're trying our best to keep, on the cutting edge of the conversation with folks like yourself and other experts that we have in our community, but it's true, it's hard to keep up. Um, that brings me to another thought that I personally believe. With that being said, everything's changing so rapidly. You're one of the people that continues to beat the drum on the fundamentals. And I think that people like you are very important voices to keep listening to, not only because you're passionate and you're likely to know things that a lot of other people don't know yet because you are invested in keeping up with the latest, because you're interested in what's going on. But not only that, you have a whole multiple decade career to fall back on and say, okay, what's actually important here? These new fancy tools, maybe they can work for us or maybe they won't be as useful, but we need to keep focusing on the things that are actually going to make the difference. I've heard you mention a little bit of that even in this discussion today, but I'm
Yep.
curious, what do you think, let's say for project managers who are just coming into the field, there's a lot of shiny objects going on for them. How does somebody make sure that they're learning what they need to do to be effective for stakeholders and for project success?
A great question, Morgan. Great question. Again, maybe this time, like you say, I'm speaking to somebody that's just kind of getting into the project management space. and I'm speaking to you directly, like, look, there's fancy whiz bang tools out there, and you can spend a lot of time going chasing after those and maybe getting some kind of certification. I know, I'm not going to name any names, but you could get it. But that technology is just kind of a means to an end. And I'm not saying we shouldn't know. I'm not saying we shouldn't know about the latest or of the modern tools and the modern technology to help us. The same is true with respect to, and I want you, you can Google this. I wrote an article. It's like, what got us here will not get us there. That's my article. You can go Google. What got us here will not get us there. It's really short. And with that being said, it's always in the past we've focused on the processes, and oh, standardize the process, and we got we got agile infiltrated our world, and we learned how to manage a project using that Scrum framework, and that's great. It's all great. It's all great. But at the end of the day, what our key stakeholders want is they want that overall benefit that the project is going to bring. They want the value of the project brought back into the organization. So again, I'm going to come back to bring me I'm bring me the scope of that project on time, within budget, and meeting my quality expectations. And that's what our leaders are looking for, so that we can bring that value back into the organization. And whether that's a new product, getting that product to the market, more quickly or more economically, or maybe it's a mandatory, government regulation that, oh, we got to go put this in place. And well, let's get that done. Let's bring that to life. And so I'm going to say something here, and you might have to mute me or cut this out, but I doubt that many executives are saying, this is what I want you to bring to life. I want you to bring this project to life. Oh, and you have to use AI tools on it. I don't think they're saying that. Oh, this is the project I need brought to life. This is critical in our organization, but you have to leverage the Scrum methodology to get us there. Morgan, I don't think I've never heard that. I've never heard any executive tell me, like, I got to use a particular tool or I got to use a particular process, because what they're looking for is that value, and that's what's critical. And I go back, I'll bring it all the way back around to one of the very first questions you asked me. As I stand here right now in kind of the twilight of my career, I sincerely believe that within 2 years, the story will come back to, like, okay, let's focus on the fundamentals of bringing that value into the organization. Doesn't matter what tool or process or technology you use, bring me those fundamentals. So that's
Right.
my parting words of wisdom.
All right. Thank you so much. What do you think is unique about MPUG, or what something that you appreciate about MPUG's platform?
So I'm going to tell you what there's a number of different benefits or features or benefits of being a member of MPUG, but the number one is MPUG, master projects for unlimited growth. The one thing is your organization brings experts together. Your organization brings thought leaders together. So even though you guys kind of look at me, and maybe other people kind of look at me as being one of those thought leaders, I look at some of the other members that have been around the MPUG community for a long time, and I go, I'm not worthy. You're so smart, because that's what your organization does. It's to this day, it's always been known for that. And still to this day, your organization brings together those incredible thought leaders in the space of project management, and especially project management with an emphasis on technology.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. And we're honored to have you and your whole team. You've brought other great people to our live events too that you work with that I've always been impressed with. So
Yeah,
we,
and that was the first one. But again, that was the first and primary bullet point. But if I were to go down the list, you offer online live events, right? Which is great, bringing the top thought leaders to share some of the latest and greatest in real time. You've got an incredible, again, 20 years worth of, or more, maybe more, archived uh, courses and learning content on the platform itself. Which there's been times where I go in there and I look to find something. I'm like, oh, that one nugget, that was worth my whole year's membership right there for that one little 10-minute little recording. That's worth the whole price of admission. And so again, those are like some of the top three or four items right there.
Thank you so much, Rich. And where can folks find you? Where would you like people to look for your work online?
Well, rather than, promote myself as an individual, I prefer to promote the organization that I work for, and that is MIGSO P cubed, MP for short. And again, we are experts when it comes to project management and those project management offices. And I know there's many executives out there that are like, man, I need to get my product to the market as quickly as I possibly can, or products, or man, we got these 6 projects spinning and I have no idea where any one of them is at, and I need that insight, visibility, and transparency. And we've been doing this, our organization's been doing this since 1991, helping organizations better manage their collection of projects and resources and bringing that value back to the organization as quickly as we possibly can. So and here's my little story. I say, like, I've worked on many projects within the automotive industry, and my thought is, hey, you guys know how to build cars. We know how to manage projects. Let's marry up. Come together. You bring your skill set, we'll bring our skill set, and we'll partner up. We'll be a team, and you do what you do best, we'll do what we do best. And again, that's my organization. And thanks for helping me get the message out there.
Absolutely. So definitely look up Rich, MIGSLP cubed. You can also go to mpug.com and look at Rich's author bio and a whole collection of his work that we have on our site. You'll find some contact information there as well. And I truly hope we get to have you back for a live event soon. We can discuss that and we'll get something in the works.
Sounds great.